So I left you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger last week after making some upgrades to the Mini LMT. This week, we're gonna test them out. First off, I just want to point out one of my favorite things about this little truck. Look how easy it is for me to carry everything that I need to have a fun little bashing session with this truck in one hand. We've all been there lugging out our 1/10 scale or larger trucks and lugging out ramps and all of that kind of stuff as well. Literally everything I need to have fun here is all in one hand. If you missed last week's video, I went ahead and opened up the diffs and the shocks in this truck. I was met with some pretty big surprises in both. The diffs being that they aren't actually sealed diffs, so it wasn't really easy to go ahead and swap out to some heavier fluid. But I did go ahead and put some silicone earplug material into those diffs to try to stiffen them up a bit. I really wanted to be able to perform some stunts a little better, some two-wheel stunts, and a very loose diff wasn't ideal for that. The shocks, on the other hand, felt a little stiff to me out of the box, so I wanted to put some lighter weight oil in there. Taking those shocks apart, I realized pretty quickly they don't come apart like normal RC shocks that I'm used to, but I decided to swap out the oil anyway. I didn't have any 10 weight, which is what I really wanted to put, so I drilled some extra holes in the shock pistons to give us a little bit of a lighter shock action. The shocks are something I thought I would notice right away, and I'm not sure if it's this loose dirt here or just my driving style, but I didn't really notice too much of a difference. I will say the one thing I did kind of pick up on with the shock is I felt like it was a lot easier to perform a slap wheelie with the truck now. Not that it couldn't do it right out of the box, it just felt like they were a little more consistent. I was able to pull out some wheelies a little further after landing the jumps. The truck did stick landings pretty well, it seemed. It didn't bounce around a lot, so I'll have to compare the footage from my initial running to now to really tell if there's a big difference, but for now I'm pretty happy with the shocks as they are. I'll still probably look into some upgrades to that pretty soon in the future. The diffs actually in general felt really good. Like I mentioned, I believe that kind of led towards some of those slap wheelies as well, being that I wasn't losing any power when one wheel or two wheels would come off the ground. The silicone earplug material in the diffs definitely didn't do exactly what I wanted to do with some thicker fluid in a sealed diff. You can see in some of these shots the truck flips over and I am able to move the truck around a little, but I'm not getting full power or even enough power to those wheels that are touching the ground because of that diff. So it's not as easy to perform a save like I really wanted to. Flip the truck back on its wheels and keep driving. But I do believe that the silicone in the diff like that does help a little bit, giving me a little more even power. I am very curious to see how long that silicone is gonna last in those diffs, being that they're open. I'm imagining inside of there that it could probably leak out the side a good bit and get spun out of place. But as I mentioned in last week's video, the amount of screws in these axle housings is insane. So I'm definitely not in a rush to start pulling them back apart. You can really see here that the truck is handling really well. It's just a blast to drive. Really one of my favorite RCs right now. Kind of interested in getting this truck out with the larger scale LMT sometime soon, just to get a better comparison of them side by side really, even though they're two completely different trucks with the same name. The shocks, as the truck sits now, it may or may not be worth it to go in and change the fluid out unless you actually do have some 5 or 10 weight fluid. But in my opinion, if you're gonna go ahead and change the fluid in the shocks, I think it's almost worth it to just pick up a set of aluminum upgraded shocks. That way you can build them the way RC shocks are supposed to be built and really bleed out all the air. The diffs, you can judge for yourself by this video. I really like the feel of it right now, but like I mentioned, I don't know how long it's gonna stay like that. So I'm really hoping to see an upgrade option sometime soon, whether it's from Losi or another manufacturer. That way we can actually get a sealed diff inside this truck. I know it's not the easiest thing in the world at this scale, but we've seen sealed diffs in many vehicles before, so I don't think it's impossible. Again, this truck is just a blast. You'll definitely be seeing a lot more of it here on the channel. Leave a like if you're enjoying the Mini LMT videos, and let me know down in the comments below, what do you want to see more with it? Do you actually want to see stuff like the Mini LMT versus the full scale LMT? I think they can make for some really cool videos, and I'll definitely be driving this truck a whole lot more coming up. But I'm curious what you guys want to see with the truck. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new videos on the Mini LMT, any running videos, upgrades, comparisons, all of that good stuff. And as always, thanks again for watching. Peace.